this is Scott.
And Tamara from the LTC Pharmacy Podcast. We just wanted to take a minute to give a shout out to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Guys, the Pharmacy Podcast Network is amazing. It has given a voice to pharmacists across the nation in each of their respective niches.
Niches? Niche?
Well, whatever it is, it's given us all a voice, and we have loved every second of it.
It's been great to be uplifted by the Pharmacy Podcast Network, knowing that we are all in this together, supporting one another and making each other better. So thank you, Pharmacy Podcast Network, for all you do. And don't forget to tune in to the LTC Pharmacy Podcast.
You're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
LTC Pharmacy Podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome to the LTC Pharmacy Podcast. This is one of our last episodes for the year. Before we jumped on here, Tamara was like, "You need to have more energy."
Listen, we tried this before, and we had to cut. First of all, his microphone was going in and out, but second of all, he sounded somber. I'm like, are we recording a podcast or going to a funeral here? We need some energy.
I was literally, I think I was close to the mic, and so I was kind of just leaned in. Hey guys, how's it going today? Yeah. But that's not the kind of podcast this is. So I'm sorry, guys. You didn't get to hear that, and that's probably for the best. But one of the last episodes of this year of 2023, and Tamara and I are on here together, just us this time. We are going to be talking about some really good parts of 2023, both for the podcast and personally in our lives, as well as some goals for 2024. Got some exciting things coming in the pipeline for the LTC Pharmacy Podcast. We've been trying to think about a name to call you guys as our listener base, and we just are at a writer's block. I don't know what were some of the ones that we came up with. We didn't really have anything good.
I got nothing. I mean, I Googled and was trying to be creative about it, and I came up with nothing.
You wanted to call them PIMS, for potentially inappropriate medications.
Yeah, but it just doesn't, it's not it doesn't seem
too close.
I mean, our listeners are awesome, so we need an awesome name.
We do. And so it's TBD for now for all of our amazing listeners, and you guys are incredible. We can't thank you enough. In fact, we were asked to continue for another season, so 2024, because of, so yay, we're both kind of celebrating about this. It's going to be awesome. But that's because of you guys. You're tuning in every single time. We've gotten great feedback. Y'all are awesome. You're incredible. So, but before we get into that, so TBD on the name for y'all, but I don't know about you, Tamara, but this time of year is stressful for, I think, everybody.
It's terrible. Yeah. The stress is so you have to do all your normal, job, if you're a mom, dad, whatever, you got your normal duties, but then on top of that, you got buying presents, doing the baking, all the kids have Christmas concerts and sports, and it's just crazy. And then the holidays this year are on Mondays, right? So Christmas is on a Monday, New Year's Day is on a Monday. So then, in pharmacy, you take a day off, you pay. So I'm sure those Tuesdays are going to be insane, but
terrible.
It's all good. But we were talking about stress. And what's funny is a while ago on LinkedIn, this was this summer, I read about ashwagandha and how it's so good for, stress reduction and helps reduce cortisol or something. And I'm like, I got to start taking this stuff. So I ordered these ashwagandha gummies from Amazon. I got them in the mail. And then it was a weekend morning. I'm just hanging out with my family and I'm like, I'm going to start this. Of course, I don't read the fine print or anything like that. It's just serving size 2 gummies, take 2.
Listen, I talked to you about this when you were because remember you reached out to me and you were like, have you ever heard of this stuff? And I'm like, Absolutely, I have, and I take 1,300 milligrams of this stuff. And you were like, "Oh, okay. Is it
Yeah.
work?" And so, anyways, keep going.
So anyway, I take the 2 gummies and I go out and hang out with my kids outside. It was like a beautiful morning on the weekend. And I'm pushing the toddler in the swing. Everyone's kind of running around in the backyard. We're having a good time. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I am tired. So there was like a towel in the backyard. One of the kids was sitting in the hot tub earlier that morning. And I'm like, Vincent, can I have your towel? I'm just like, I just want to lay down a second. So I put his towel down on the grass and I lay down and I sleep like in the middle of the backyard. And my husband comes out and he's like, what is happening? I'm like, God, I think that ashwagandha made me tired. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I've got to get up, right? So I get up, I'm going to go, I have to go upstairs and I like walk up the deck steps and there's like our outdoor furniture there with a nice couch and like pillow. And I'm just straight to the couch. I napped for like 2 hours and I do not nap, but I'm like, why did no one tell me to take this at bedtime? I was like a zombie.
I think you texted me when this was all kind of going down, and you're like, you didn't tell me that it would cause me to be drowsy. And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely will cause you to be drowsy. I was like, how much did you take? And at that point in time, I didn't know that you'd ordered in something different. So I thought you were taking what I was taking. And I'm like, oh, man, like that knocked you out. And I don't know, who knows what it would be refined as a drug, right? But like, I mean, the stuff works pretty well, but just, yeah. So warning for the wise,
Right.
whatever saying that is, then just don't take all the recommended dosage on like round one of your time to take ashwagandha.
And in the morning, like consider bedtime administration for sure.
I mean, I take mine in the morning now. Now, if you're worried about it, there is some stuff out there on like liver damage and all that, but there's very few studies, as you might imagine, from an herbal supplement. But Tamara and I think it works really well. So stress management for this year, ashwagandha.
But got to do something.
Just make sure you have a towel or some bedding around.
In case you need a quick nap. That's how it reduces the stress. It just zonks you out, so you don't feel just pass it.
You don't think about your stress when you're asleep. Well, that's a great story. I still remember that, and I remember like I was outside too. I think at the time when you were texting me, and I remember almost falling down. I was laughing so hard, and I don't know that you knew I was laughing that hard, but I was literally just, it made my day. It was funny.
Napping in the middle of the yard, in the middle of the morning. It's normal.
Napping. So 2023, Tamara.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah, we both had, I think, a really great year. We launched this podcast in 2023. So June was the very first LTC episode, our intro episode. And
I don't think that. Did they know that I think we talked about how we were friends, right, before we launched this thing, but I think it kind of went something like this. We had known each other from ASCP. We had attended there in, I think it was October or November, right, the year before. And so we'd only known each other a couple months. Like, you just call out the blue and you're like, hey, I just got asked to do this podcast. Do you want to do it with me? And I'm like, I don't know the first thing about a podcast. I don't know, but I know I got to talk, but I mean, what do I talk, but yeah. And I think you were probably desperate to find somebody that
so Todd, with the Pharmacy Podcast Network thought like a male female combination for a podcast host would be really good. And so I was excited about doing it. And I was trying to think of someone, a male from ASCP with a lot of great clinical experience. And so since I had met Scott, I'm like, yep, I think he'd be a perfect fit, kind of fun and really knowledgeable about pharmacy. And it ended up working out perfect.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. She had asked 25 other people and they all said no. And then she got to me and I was just like, why not? Let's try this thing. But no, it's been a great time and lots of really good memories from 2023. lots of incredible guest hosts, and a special thank you again to all of our guest hosts that were on from the very beginning to just here recently. Some of my favorite moments, I remember having Dr. Steinman on there, and he was like, "You can refer to me as S Dog," and I don't know why it caught me off guard so much because we had, I think, been joking about how we wanted to come up with a nickname for him, and then he just says it like that, like it was not nonchalant, and it made my day. I don't
Well,
know.
he's published like over 100 papers. So you
Right.
think about like his accomplishments and how intelligent he is. And so it just really threw us off guard when he told us to call him S Dog. And he's amazing. His deprescribing episode was, man, he knocked it out of the park. Such good information. And also think about all the other amazing episodes. We had Deborah Melito on antimicrobial stewardship. We had 2 different Lauras on, right?
Yeah.
Laura Finn
squared.
to talk about, Laura squared. Laura Finn to talk about med airs, Laura Junco to talk about pain and pain management. And then, of course, we had the great debate with Jenna and Jaron doing peds versus geriatrics. So I think that's all. And we have another good one lined up for you soon, which will be great. And gosh, we have just so much more to talk about in long-term care pharmacy. But what we wanted to do is talk about a few of our favorite long-term care pharmacy moments from 2023. So I know you accomplished quite a bit this year. Maybe you should start and talk about one of your favorites.
Yeah, it's been a good year at work for sure. We have been pushing pretty hard and working very, very diligently for all those people out there that have been through the ACPE accreditation process for CEUs. It's a very lengthy process, and shout out to our ACPE people that may be listening in on this. You guys made my life really hard. Just kidding. It was really, really challenging, but also incredible. And we did receive ACPE accreditation as a company, so that was an awesome feat to accomplish, and that was one of the big highlights from 2023 because there's a lot of work. There's ton of work to put into that. So yeah, that's one of them. What about you?
So I wrote down a couple. One of my favorite parts of 2023 as a pharmacy consultant is I've started to meet with patients like face to face if they're having medication issues, side effects, or if they feel like they're on too many medications. It's been really great to just set up an appointment and go visit with the patient in the nursing home and just talk about meds. And it's so much more effective than just reviewing their chart and making recommendations. So, you go talk with people and you hear their stories and you hear which meds, they really feel strongly about being on and the ones they don't really care about. And that has been so valuable as far as being able to deprescribe some inappropriate ones and just finding out the reasons behind the ones that they don't want to go off of and why they don't want to go off of them. And then just to build that relationship has been super fun. I love it.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I remember years ago, just being able to do some of that. It's impactful, and you catch so much other stuff. I think what is a shame is sometimes we're always in long-term care, we're having to balance time and how many people we're looking at, and some of those kind of things unfortunately fall by the wayside. But that care is really what we all got into this for, right? And sitting down with people and just listening to them. I remember they used to tell me, like, I was never on this med, and you're like, well, it says that you've been on this med for however long. And they're like, well, I wasn't on it at home. And then you switch it up and they're in a much better place. Or I'm having this problem and nobody's ever, addressed this, right? I remember some guy wanting additional pain meds and just talking to him, and come to find out he hadn't told the staff that he had fallen and he had a fracture. So it's just, there's all these kind of things that really, that's awesome. So yeah, kudos to you. That's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm also thinking, go ahead.
No, I was just laughing because some of the stuff they say too is just like the one guy I was meeting with, like mid talking about his meds, he's like, man, you need a pedicure. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. I do. But
well, I'm leaving right now.
Thanks for noticing. Just things like that, the stuff they say, it's just hilarious. But And one lady saw her daughter come in and just immediately faked sleeping because she didn't want to deal with her. So I'm like, we're talking, she sees her daughter down the hall and just like lays down and closes her eyes like immediately. And I'm just watching this whole thing go down. It's so funny. And then she's like, Mom, just came to check in, you know, I'll check in later. See ya. She leaves and she sits back up and talks about her meds again. So it's
some people fake a call, some people just fake falling asleep. I mean, whatever works for you to avoid your family.
Right. Yeah. So why don't you go ahead with another one?
I mean, that's a great tactic for this time of year. You're around a lot of family this time of year. So if you're not wanting to be around somebody, just fake being asleep. That's okay. You might be able to fake them out a little bit.
Just tell them you took a little ashwagandha.
Exactly. You passed out. Yeah. I mean, some other things that we did that were exciting is obviously, like I mentioned a minute ago, and for you guys listening in, you may not realize this. Tamara and I have been doing this since I've been doing it since probably 2007, around in long-term care, 6, 7. I think you were 2010, right, when you got into it. So we got quite a bit of experience in long-term care. But one of the biggest challenges is always kind of like what we were talking about right here. It's how do you center patient care? How do you balance that with the dreaded word of metrics and things like how do I get my stuff done in a timely manner? And for years, I've been working on different ways to do that within our company, and found a new training tactic and new way of working through and leveraging different pieces of our software. And it was incredible. Like when I ran the kind of data from that and those changes within our company, not only did we have better patient comments, which are always a big thing, right? Like more robust, patient-centered comments. But we also had, better outcomes as well as just better overall mental status of the pharmacy consultants. And I think that's something that we don't talk a lot about, but it's huge. And so we did lots of different trainings and even launched an internal podcast on like the mental well-being of consultant pharmacists and consultant nurses. And so, yeah, just lots of like fun education stuff this year as well for my team. So, yeah.
Well, that's amazing. You guys do such good work. I think the other, favorite part of 2023 for me, as far as long-term care pharmacy goes, is just implementing pharmacogenomics in my facilities. And I know I'm probably going to get sick of me talking about it, but in June, we tested 85 patients, and the results of that ended up being just, 16 severe interactions, 149 moderate. I mean, we made so many medication changes. It was awesome. Lots of data to support what a success that was. And that was really cool. I hope to do more testing in long-term care facilities and the community.
Well, we really haven't talked about, we haven't talked much about that on here on the LTC Pharmacy podcast. And I think we are looking at that for sure. We talked about doing an episode. I mean, we need no one else, y'all, besides Tamara. She is incredible with PGX and long-term care. And if you're following her on LinkedIn, and you should be, then you'll see some incredible results that she has and some incredible things that we're doing. And that is kind of an exciting, I think we're finally getting to a place where we're seeing it make a huge impact in long-term care. So yeah, more to come for sure on that. We're talking about goals going into 2024, and we are so honored to have been asked to continue. That is definitely due to you guys listening in again. So thank you for that. But Todd, the Pharmacy Podcast Network, asked us to continue on into 2024. And so we wanted to go over a couple of goals that we have for the podcast first. And one of the biggest goals I think that you're going to see probably even early on is Tamara and I are really going to try to push out more episodes. We're crazy busy, but at the same time, we just think it's so important to get the education out there, to just talk through some things. And you're going to, I think, see a lot more episodes of just the two of us. So hopefully you like that dynamic and just us kind of talking about what we have seen, what we're currently seeing. So yeah, more episodes.
Yeah. Well, every time we record one, I learn so much too, that I'm like, oh, we should do these more, because I learn, when those guest hosts come on and they talk about different things, I learn just as much as any listener we have. It's been really good as far as like implementing in your practice and learning and growing as a pharmacist. And then it's also just fun.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. And, just like if you've ever taught, like for those listening in, if you've ever taught, there's always that saying, like, if you're going to teach something, like you're going to be learning so much about it because you're going to want to prep for it and all those kind of things. So yeah, it has been really fun, and just getting to interact with Tamara is obviously a blast. We talk all the time, but just getting to do it on here, on the air, so to speak, with you guys has been a lot of fun. So you're going to see some more episodes there. We're going to line up some more guest hosts, obviously. We're kind of constantly getting feedback from you all, because like a lot of people reach out to us throughout the year and throughout us doing this, and have given us some suggestions, and we're going to try to incorporate those. So keep those coming. We want to hear what those are. But yeah, more episodes is our biggest goal. We're also going to try to be at some different events as well. So watch for us there. If you see us, we'd love to give you a hug, say hi, those kind of things. So that's one of the biggest goals, I think, for 2024 for us here at the LTC Pharmacy Podcast.
Yeah, it'll be fun to do more episodes and to meet more people and network. And please reach out on LinkedIn. That would be awesome. We love hearing from you and getting your ideas and just collaborating too. We learn so much from following different pharmacists on LinkedIn. I think it's so inspiring to be on there and see what everyone's doing. I love it.
And just like even we just had Jenna on from the pediatric side of pharmacy, and I think there's just so much that we can learn from one another, even if you're not in long-term care. Maybe you're looking at getting into it, or you're just not in long-term care at all. It's not that we can't benefit from one another. And I think that's what is so incredible about LinkedIn, mainly just overall the pharmacy and pharmacist community across the nation is incredible. So yeah, reach out. We'd love to hear from you guys. What about some like work or personal goals, Tamara, for 2024? What you got on the agenda?
Well, as far as work goes, I would love to, I guess, maintain it all. I love the facilities that I consult for, and I want to keep doing a really good job for them and make sure just taking good care of all my patients. And then in the community setting, I hope to increase a little bit. I just launched the deprescribing clinic in March, and I hope that grows a little bit. I have typically seen like 4 to 6 patients a month, but 10 would be awesome. So we'll see if that grows. These community-based pharmacogenomics businesses, and I don't do just PGX testing. I'm doing some deprescribing and cognitive risk reduction and things like that. But it's tough to make it. I think it seems maybe like it's an easy thing just to start a company and get patients, but it's not. And so I'm happy with where I'm at, but I do definitely want it to grow. So those are a few professional goals. Personally, just hoping to be a good mom to my awesome kids and then be a good wife to my amazing husband. I'm so blessed for sure. And so do my best to balance it all. That's for sure. One day at a time.
Yeah. Maybe having to hit the ashwagandha again to get through all that. Yeah. And you do an awesome job. I'm so impressed by that. And you're right. I mean, you're in a tough market. I mean, we see on LinkedIn all the time, won't go into any soapboxes here, but pivot into this and pivot into that and all this kind of stuff. But it's not quite that easy all the time to make it once you pivoted. And so, yeah, I'm wishing you the best. I'll send anybody I can from Texas to North Dakota for you.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, 2024 is going to be, and then, yeah, of course, you got incredible kids and you're an incredible mom. So that's awesome. Yeah, 2024 is going to be a fun time. I mean, we're growing as a company, so obviously bringing more people on and wanting to kind of keep the culture alive that we've created is going to be a big goal there. Personally, and work related, you might have seen this because Tamara's got her BCGP and we put that on all of our stuff. And we've had several people on that have had their BCGP or some other type of certification. I am going to try to get my BCGP, despite every single year I say that, but now I'm saying it on the air to all of y'all.
Now you have to.
Now I've got to. I feel like I've got this weight on my shoulders now. And I think you and I were both talking about maybe doing like the fellowship through ASCP, FASCP.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yep.
Deborah Melito. It's working. You came up to me at one of the events, Deborah. It's working. Here it is on the air announcing it. So yeah, I think we're both going to get our FASCP.
Or try to.
Or try. I mean, it's not a shoe in. Like we're going to try this thing. But yeah, I think 2024 is going to be a good year for me personally as well. Just balancing the whole dad and husband thing is always a challenge, and just wanting to make sure that I'm growing in that way too, self growth there. So great things happening, and I'm sure all of you guys listening in have a lot of exciting things come up in 2024 for you. Love to hear some of those things as we meet and interact with you guys. And we've got some other really exciting things coming in the pipeline for 2024.
Cannot wait to share.
Cannot share it yet.
Not yet, but soon, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So we'll share more details as that comes along.
And I think I should end with a joke, because I saw this joke and I wanted to say this joke during the Peds versus Geriatrics.
I was going to say, okay, here it is.
Dang it, I forgot. And you know how it is. We love to laugh and have fun because
I think that was my first comment to you after the episode. I was like, you didn't tell your joke.
I know. And now we've really built it up. And so I hope it's as good as I think it is. Because sometimes I think I'm funny and I'm not funny. My husband reminds me of that every once in a while. Anyways, hey, Scott.
Hey, Tamara.
Do you know how to be smoking hot as a geriatric?
No. Tell me.
You get cremated.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible.
It is terrible, but it's hilarious. So I'm glad that you ended with that. That's a great way to end 2023.
Is it? Oh.
I don't know. Maybe cremation is not the way to end 2023. That's not what we meant for anybody listening in. We hope that's not your end for 2023. But
hey, I could always give this one
okay.
Because my 5-year-old told me this the other day and I thought it was pretty cute.
Okay.
Why couldn't the toilet paper cross the road?
Oh, I don't know why.
It got stuck in the crack.
Leave it to 5-year-olds to give us humor.
They say the funniest things.
Kids are just awesome. Kids are just kids. They are who they are. Well, guys, it has been a fun journey so far on the LTC Pharmacy podcast, and we have enjoyed every second of it. Hopefully you guys have as well. We look forward to an incredible 2024, and more laughs, more jokes, more amazing learning together and topics, and showcasing LTC and giving it a voice. And we're so honored for the Pharmacy Podcast Network letting us do that. So hopefully you guys have an incredible holiday season.
Yes. Thanks for listening, you guys, and have a happy new year and a great Christmas holiday.
Yep. See you guys next year.
Bye.